All right, hello everybody, welcome back. Another lesson taking a look at evaluating numerical expressions involving integers. So, one thing that we really got to keep in mind is a mnemonic device called PEMDAS. So if for those of you that do not know what PEMDAS means, it means parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So when we are talking about parentheses, we're just saying solve within the parentheses first, and then we work outside. Uh, if we have an integer or even rational numbers or natural numbers, if they have an exponent, they would come second. Then we would move on to multiplication or division. If it's not in the problem, then we just jump right down to addition and subtraction, and then vice versa. If there's only multiplication, division, and no addition, subtraction, we ignore these steps and we just go P, E, D, M. And obviously, if there's no parentheses or exponents and there's multiplication, division, or subtraction, we would just go in these steps. So when we are taking a look specifically here today, we want to make sure we are following our order. Whichever comes first, looking in our equation left to right. So if division comes first, then multiplication, we would divide first, and then we would go ahead and multiply. Same thing here, and this will make sense in just a couple minutes, but if there's addition or subtraction first and then multiplication, division, what you do, you would solve the multiplication or division problem first, and then you would finish the problem off using addition or subtraction. So if that doesn't make sense, hopefully this does in a little bit. So for our first example, if I have negative 4 divided by 2 times 2, so we go PEMDAS, and what I encourage my students always, for every problem, just write the PEMDAS right there. So, and we use it as a checklist. So if there's no P, I cross it off. If there's no E or exponents, I cross it off. Now I go into multiplication and division. So we have to remember that multiplication and division, it's whichever comes first, and addition, subtraction, right, comes second. So we see that division comes first, so we have to solve for those two terms. And what we do, I call this kind of like the funnel. Your problem should be funneling down towards your answer. So with an expression, we would write equal, because 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2 times 2. Everything that's behind the part or not included with this section that we are multiplying, we do not include within the set. We just leave everything the same, and this will make even more sense when we get to expressions that have 4 terms, 5 terms, 6 terms, even more. You would have to break things down section by section, and everything else that is not actually being solved for stays the same. So then we just have 2 times 2 left over, so we have 2 times 2, and that gets us 4. Next example, if I have 1 minus 5 times 4, so in this case, even though we are tempted to solve 1 minus 5 first and then multiply 4, we have to remember that multiplication or division always comes before subtraction. So what we would have to do is we multiply 5 times 4, or another way that we could think of it is negative 5 times 4. Either way, we would end up with negative 20, or 1 minus 20. And we remember when we have that whole number and we see that negative or that minus, it's implied that this number is negative. So 1 minus 20 gets us negative 19. The final example that I have for these 3 terms, we have 3 plus 5 times 2. And so again, we have to recognize PEMDAS. Multiplication comes before addition or subtraction. So we have to solve 5 times 2. That gets us 10. So everything before stays the same. We write our funnel. We have our equal sign. So we have 3 plus 10. We add those together and we end up with 13. So I wanted to go over one more type of problem that you may come across where there are multiple terms within the expression. So if I have, 5 plus 6 divided by 3 plus 5. So we have to identify a couple things. So first, within PEMDAS, we have to realize what are we being tasked to solve within the set. So we see automatically we have addition and we have division. So those are the things that we have to recognize, and that our division set always will come before everything else. So outside of the box, everything stays the same. So what I recommend, especially if you have a highlighter, you may want to highlight the two terms that you will be solving when expressions get larger. So I have my equal sign, I go 5 plus, and then I solve 6 divided by 3. That gets me 2, and I leave everything else the same outside. And then now I solve the second term. 5 plus 2 gets me 7. Everything outside the box stays the same. And then I have my final set. 7 plus 5 gets me 12. And I box or circle my answer. And if you have that kind of funnel shape, you know you are on the right track. So when you are looking at either 3 terms or 4 terms within a set, make sure to go back and review your PEMDAS steps just to make sure that you are solving things in the right order. Because if we, I'll go back to this example. So if I solve things out of order, if I just solve left to right, I would get 11 divided by 3 plus 5. And then if I try to add or divide 11 by 3, I would have 11, 3. 3 times 3 gets me 9. And see, already I'm already getting a headache. I've got 2, can't solve anything, 0, drop 3 times 8, or no, 3 times 6 gets me 18. That gets me 2. And I'm in this endless cycle of 3.66 bar, and then trying to have to add 3.66 plus 5. I'm getting 8.66 bar. So here, this is so much different than that. So this is the wrong way to solve it. Remember, we have to go multiplication or division first, and then we solve the addition and subtraction last. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.